What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast. Today, I'm gonna give you a full. Let's see, how should I say this? I'll give you a little tidbit of all the things that have transpired over the years. So, if you're new to the space, this is a video for you to watch. Even if you're not new, this is a video for you to refresh your memory, to sharpen your tools about your investment. And I'm going to show you a series of clips posted by I Am Legion, who is an incredible researcher. Shout out to him for the information he puts out for everyone. And these are a bunch of a series of mini clips of many people involved with Ripple. And I'm telling you, there are no coincidences. After many things just happen continuously, it's not a coincidence. It's what's actually happening. And also, I'll show you an interesting audio clip about what Mr. Cattell thinks that Ripple's going to do after the lawsuit. So stay tuned for the end. Now, here we see that central banks are going to use digital assets as reserve currencies. Take a listen.
Around digital assets. In addition, I think we might see central banks with greater adoption rates around the concept of using digital assets as reserve currencies. And then I think we will see derivatives markets start to explode in 2020 and beyond. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the derivatives markets outpace spot by 2x by the end of...
So you see that, and we see the U.S. bank, okay, they're going to custody crypto. And also we hear a lot of talk about central bank digital currencies and stuff. And we know that Ripple was part of the Fed's Faster Financial Task Force, Faster Payments Financial Task Force. And so little by little, we're going to see the integrations come out. We know Bank of America applied for DLT. We know Wells Fargo had a DLT patent as well. Okay, I'm going to go down here and see that. Now this one is interesting, okay? This one tells you all you need to know. And this is Dilip Rao talking about it.
That's when the two will converge. So from a use case point of view, we think we still have a solid platform, a solid base as to what is the problem being solved. Is it a big problem? And who is ultimately going to use XRP? And in our case, we think it's going to be financial institutions, or it's going to be market makers who want to come in and play in that business. And it's a huge, as I mentioned, a $27 trillion, base that is there today. So if you go by that, I'm not selling my XRP.
So I believe he's talking about Nostra Vostra accounts that it ranges from 10 to $27 trillion. And if you replace those accounts with XRP to help so that they don't have to have dormant money sitting around in different areas, if you enable XRP in that ecosystem, well, you have a base number of $270 if it's if it is $27 trillion, which he's talking about, and you take into account for all the XRP in existence. Okay, so I mean, just that alone right there tells you. And he says, I'm not selling my XRP. Okay, then we see David Schwartz here.
Remember, this is 2 weeks before MoneyGram was announced. This is David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple. Listen to what he says.
Have a bank that doesn't want to touch a digital asset. They're like, we can't have XRP on our books. We can't buy it. We can't sell it. It's just too much of a regulatory challenge for us. But let's say they want to make a payment in Mexico and they don't want to have to pre-fund and they don't want to have to get confirmation 3 days later. What they can do is they can have an XRapid customer that probably won't be a bank. It'll be a payment company or some other type of institution.
Oh, wait. They can have an XRapid customer. MoneyGram's an XRapid customer. Check. It probably won't be a bank. Oh, they're not a bank. Check. It'll be a payment processor. Check. Or some other company. Check. And what did Alex just say? Oh, new revenue stream. Check. What do you think they're doing, folks?
That uses a digital asset to buy the Mexican pesos as an internal treasury function and then offers those Mexican pesos to the bank.
For a profit. Generating a new revenue stream. Ding, 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 ding. Are you guys paying attention? Okay, let me...
And that does it, okay? So we know MoneyGram, and they recently, when the SEC lawsuit took place, they severed ties. But that's not to say that they won't come back again when this is all over. So we need to pay close attention to MoneyGram. Okay. Then we hear the Nostra Vostra accounts, the Spunta project.
And by September 2020, all the Italian banking sector will be on the DLT application for the Spunta. The first step after this would be to naturally extend the Spunta at a European level, to involve other European banks in defining the requirements and the characteristics of the Nostra and Vostra account process.
And those Nostra Vostra accounts, I'm telling you, those are a lot of dormant capital sitting around. Okay, here we see SWIFT, Santander, and Ripple.
Exploring interconnectivity with a lot of things, and banks have always been about that interconnectivity. Right now, you can. To some extent, you can already do that. If Santander is on SWIFT as well, so they can act as the peering point between the two.
Okay. Now we have the airplane analogy. I'm gonna skip that one because a lot of people, it's the analogy that you can take $10,000, get on a plane, and get to a place faster than it would if you were to send it through a bank. Is the analogy. Okay, let's see. The SWIFT 2.0. I'm gonna show this one.
Dollar to yen, dollar to Mexican peso, dollar to Argentinian peso, and that's because that's how the correspondent banking network works today. In effect, some people describe what Ripple's original product and initial product is called kind of SWIFT 2.0. SWIFT is what correspondent banks use for messaging to debit and credit the pools of liquidity. And when I say pools of liquidity, I mean like pre-funded accounts. The Bank of Jen and the Bank of Brad would have accounts at each other's banks, and you might be Mexican peso, I'd be dollar, and we debit and credit those with messaging. That works if the accounts are pre-funded. And what we have found is there's more efficient ways to manage liquidity. If you as a bank don't have to put money at my bank and I don't have to put money at your bank, I can use that money for other things. It's working capital. Dollar to yen.
And that's exactly what we're talking about with the Nostra Vostra accounts. It's, for example, if it's $27 trillion, it's dormant capital. It's not being moved around because you have to pre-fund those accounts. Okay, so you have to have it set up in different banks around the world or different areas, And if you want to unlock that, you use the bridge asset XRP where everything is moving. You don't have to pre-fund anything because it's instant settlement, and that's what he's talking about. And here is the crawl, walk, run.
The Bitcoin blockchain. So if you have to hold Bitcoin for 8 hours while you settle a transaction, that's a lot of volatility risk. An XRP transaction is always about 4 seconds long. So if you're only holding a highly volatile asset for 3 or 4 seconds versus holding fiat, a low volatile asset, for a SWIFT transaction, maybe 3 days, it turns out the volatility risk, because it's such a short amount of time, is lower using an XRP transaction than it is using a SWIFT transaction that might take 3 days. Now, I think people don't really understand that today, and part of the misinformation education for us is helping people understand that. But I think that's part of the crawling and walking and run as crypto goes from, I think, kind of the shadows, frankly, into how do we solve real problems for real customers at scale.
And that's why I always say on this channel, utility, utility, utility. Do you know what you own? Because it's going to come to a point where it's like the protocol, the value's in the protocol. You are a part investor in the protocol. That's what you are by owning the token. And that's why I harp on this point that if you want to speculate a little bit of money on something that is going to run up, up some percentage, like a little gamble, sure, go ahead. But don't put all your money into something that's like Dogecoin. Like, come on now. So here he's talking about the shipping containers, being able to get them all on the same measurements and stuff to make shipping easier, and that helped increase global trade. And what happens when you have the internet of value? How much is that going to explode? So this is a really good one to watch. Here I'm just giving the short little ones to give an idea of the basic concepts of everything that's happened. Here it's Ripple working with 40 or 50 central banks.
Employed by Ripple
because so we actually work very closely with about 40, 50 central banks across the globe, including Bank of Thailand.
There you go. Worked with 40 to 50 central banks. Here you see 50 different governments. Monica Long, and I forget her name on the right.
We are engaging with 50 different governments worldwide.
There it is. She's telling you right there. And here we see Brad Garlinghouse talking about XRP not being a security.
XRP could consider it an unregistered security. What would you say to them?
Well, it's pending litigation, so I'll probably be a little bit, muted on the topic. Suffice it to say, we don't think it has merit. These are people who didn't buy XRP from us. We also don't believe XRP is a security. I think, one of the poignant arguments in my point of view is, if I went back to the office and said to the team at Ripple, hey, we're shutting down, XRP trades on 130, 140 exchanges around the world. XRP would keep trading. So like, wait a minute. Okay, so it's a security. It's a security of what? It's not a security of Ripple. It doesn't give you the rights to dividends or ownership of Ripple, the company. We have shareholders of Ripple, right? We raised a Series A financing, a Series B financing, and we own a lot of XRP, but they're two separate things.
At the same time, we've seen recently Block One had.
Okay, and there he tells you, and now here they're going to tell you that they're here to make a dent in the universe.
Really has the opportunity to put its own dent in the universe to really transform the way global commerce.
There, that's Brad Garlinghouse. Now here is Naveen Gupta telling you that.
To put you on the spot here.
No, it's very simple. So I think one thing, if there is one message that you can get in this room, is Ripple is not an ordinary company. We are not here to have a small market share or do X, do Y, and make small amount of money or something to happen. We are here to make a dent in the universe. Either we will change the remittance universe, the way you understand, the way value gets transferred across the world, between people, between institutions, or we will just fade away.
There it is. Okay, and so I'll save the rest for another episode, but I want to end on this note. Okay, so I showed you a little bit of information of everything that this is what's happening, and I hope this episode has brought you some value. Like and subscribe. Comment below. What do you think about all these videos and all these coincidences, quote unquote, that have been happening over the years? This is the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.